We're going to talk today about one of the top fives. So the top things to go after are expireds for sale by owners, geo calls, open houses, right? Past clients, sphere of influence, and online leads. That's where the big buckets come from. We've already talked about a lot of them. Well, I think last week we went over, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we went over for sale by owners and the for sale by owner system, right? Okay. Today, we're just simply going to go over the easiest form of prospecting, which is geo calling. Now, I'm going to date myself. I'm going to go way back in time in the early 90s when I started in real estate. And I literally was selling over 300 listings myself. And most all we were doing is just geo calling. We're doing contacts because we know one thing, contacts equal contracts. So if you haven't wrote that down, write that down. You're going to hear me say that all the time. We overcomplicate this business way too much. So Corey, if you would have last year talked to twice as many people, past clients, sphere of influence, leads, doesn't matter, would you have sold twice as many houses?
The answer typically is yes, and sometimes even as you do more, it multiplies.
And absolutely so. So we overcomplicate this way too much often. And we just need to realize that the game is contacts, it's having conversations. So every day you need to put yourself in a place of having conversations. There's only three things that we have control over, guys. We have control over your skills. If you want to write down skills, you have control over your schedule, and you have control over your attitude. That's what we have control over every day. Our schedule should be built to allow us to have contacts. And that could be door knocking, and that could be events, that could be all sorts of geo calling, one of the things we're going to do today. So let's talk about geo calling, but let's start off with the numbers. And Corey, do you have a calculator next to you?
I do.
Yeah, you have your phone. Right? Being around for a long time, we used to actually carry, you got a calculator. Good. Okay. All right, so let's look at the numbers for geocalling. And this is how easy it is to make money, right? If we're going to do geocalling, I'm going to strongly recommend you guys use a dialer, okay? Because a dialer, you're going to get a hold of 2 to 3 times as many people using a dialer. I'm also going to recommend you having a purpose for your call. And often it's because you have a buyer that's looking for a house in the area and you're literally trying to find them an off-market house. So it's an easy purpose. We will get a hold of 8 people per hour. So write down 8 people per hour. Usually 6 people in the daytime, 10 to 12 people at night in the evening hours. So it's an average of 8. So Corey, if we dedicated, and before I say this, I'm going to do a little side note here. And by the way, if you guys have any questions, just jump in. You know, in the whole coaching community, we talk about hours of power. And that means make your 1 hour of dialing. And in the way I've always looked at business and to do business at high levels, my job is to be on appointments. And when I'm not on an appointment, my job is to get appointments. I have no problem prospecting for 6 to 7 hours. That doesn't bother me. I plan on working and I know my job is to have contacts. So we fill our time with things that are not productive. But we're just going to say, let's say, Corey, that you prospected 3 hours a day. Okay. So take your calculator and you guys could do the same thing. 8 contacts per hour times 3 is what, Corey?
24
24 times 5 days a week is what?
is 120.
120 times 50 days, 50 weeks of the year.
6,000.
6,000 conversations. So you guys, often we overestimate what we can do in a short period of time, but we underestimate what we can do over a long period of time. Consistency is what gives you success. It's finding your lane and doing the activities every single day. So if I have 6,000 contacts, Nazar, I'm going to sell a house. In fact, I'm going to sell a lot more than one house. If we think, Nazar, you're in Utah, right? A little shortage of houses, people sitting on their houses, not as many sales as there has been in the market. Market's probably off about 80%. You're probably looking at 1 out of every 15 homes in your marketplace that sell. Used to be probably 10. You guys, if you talk to 100 people, you're going to have a conversation with 4 or 5 people that are going to move this year. That's just given math. Now, you're not everybody you're going to talk to knows that they're going to have a baby or they're going to get a job relocation or they're going to get laid off, etc. But we know if we have 100 conversations, we're going to have a piece of business. I can tell you this because I've tracked it with my own business and I've tracked it with all my clients. So, Corey, take 6,000 divided by 100.
Yep, that's
This
60.
That's 60 transactions. Okay. Now, who would like to add 60 transactions to their business? Right? Okay. Corey, in your marketplace, and thanks for volunteering, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
In your marketplace, what's your average income?
Our average income is per household is about $98,000.
Oh, I meant the commission. You make $98,000
Okay,
commission would be
okay, yeah,
really
yeah.
nice.
Per commission, we're looking at about $18,000.
18,000. And I'm in Michigan. The company I just sold at least was in Michigan. And that average commission was about 8,000. So whatever your number is, multiply it by 60 because I'm telling you that these numbers are very accurate. Corey, multiply 18,000 times 60.
Uh,
It's a big
what did I
number.
say?
18,000 times 60 transactions. You guys
Yeah,
do the
times
same on
60.
your own commission. What is it, Corey?
That's $1,080,000.
$1 million. Okay. 3 hours of prospecting equals $1 million for you. Some of you guys might be 500,000. Some of you guys might be, 2 million, depending on your average commission. And I'm going to just address something real quick. People that live in California have a tendency of selling less houses than people live in Michigan. Why is that? People are people. It's because we get into a comfort zone. You make a lot more money, but the higher commissions, so therefore we sell less. It's always been a joke that if you want to make more money, sell more real estate, go buy a bigger house, you have bigger needs, and you're going to work harder, right? The numbers are the same no matter where we're at. So here's the reality, Corey, where take that $1,080,000, if you would, and divide it by 50 weeks and tell me what your income per week is.
Income per week is 21,600.
Not bad, right?
Not
21.6
bad.
divided by 5 days. What is your income per day?
Divided by
5 days.
uh, I did wrong number. That's 4,320.
Per day divided by 3 hours. What's your income per hour?
1,440.
Good income divided by 8 contacts. What is your income every time somebody answers the phone?
$180.
You're making $180 every time somebody answers the phone. Yeah, okay. Is that a pretty good number for somebody when they answer a phone? You get paid $180?
That's not too bad.
Okay, so Corey, if I walked into your office and I had a whole bag of money and they're all like tied together and $180, right? $100 bill and 420s. And I stood next to you and I said, every time somebody answers the phone, I'm going to give you the stack. How long would you make phone calls for?
I think people would do it for very, very long.
Maybe even 10 hours a day, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So even if your number was $90, would you get paid $90 a contact? Absolutely. Okay. But we don't look at our business that way because we can't visualize that this activity equals that. Write your business plan and see how it works. Do your own numbers, and you'll see that these numbers work. I mean, I'm using a number of 8 contacts per hour. Does everybody agree if you use a dialer, you're going to get a hold of 8 contacts per hour on the average? We're all good with that, right? Would you all agree if you have 100 conversations, Nazar, you're probably going to get a sale, right? Makes sense to me.
Basically
Uh,
1% is what that number is.
yeah, there you go. Another way of looking at it, right?
Right.
So these numbers, and even if you said I'm half off on my numbers, and I'm not, but if I'm half off of my numbers, is it still good money? Absolutely. Now, the nice thing about this, guys, is no matter what your market is, and for most of you guys are in markets that we call tough. Well, we call them tough because we're comparing the market to a better market. Who's been in real estate for longer than 7 years? Raise your hand if you would. Okay, so a lot of you guys longer than 7 years. Who's been in longer than 15 years? Okay, so Neo, Nazar, maybe a couple other guys. Neo, have you ever seen a market that was slow?
Yes,
And what happens? We go through the slow times, it comes right back out, goes into a good time, and then it goes back into a slow time, goes in a good time, right?
that's right.
Right. All right. So is this a bad market or is this a normal market?
Oh, it's a very opportunist market, depending if you're a seller or a buyer.
Very good, right? And no matter what, if you have enough contacts, it's always a good market. For
Yeah.
most of you guys are off about 80% from what it was in the past, in the last couple of years, but it's still 80%. The thing is, when we prospect, we're in control of our destiny. You have control of your business if you're doing prospecting calls, right? So let's get into the actual phone call for geo calling because that's what we're talking about today. Um, so Emily, I'm a clothing salesperson and you just walked into the mall and you're walking into my clothing store and I say, can I help you? Can I help you find something? You say what?
What are you looking for?
No, no, no.
You're the person and I'm the salesperson. I say, can I help you find
Oh,
something? You say, I'm just what?
I'm just looking.
Yeah. Does everybody say I'm just looking? It's like we all went to the same school. Everybody's just looking, but yet you could be looking at the pair of pants that you plan on buying, right? Write down reflective no, because that's what it is, reflective no. You do not have a rapport built with that individual. And since you don't have a rapport built with that individual, okay, they're going to say, I'm just looking, even though they have intention buying. A good salesperson, right, is going to say to you, Emily, it's going to say, well, may I ask, are you looking for jeans? Are you looking for shirts? Are you looking for shorts? Well, what is it that you're looking for? And then you're going to say, and you say, would you be interested in getting some information about our 2-for-1? It's the additional questions beyond the reflective no that causes the conversation. That's so important to understand when you're making phone calls. If you're going to call neighborhoods and just ask people if they're interested in selling, you're going to get no business. And you're going to say this does not work. But it's the conversations that we're having after the reflective no, after the no that creates. Okay. The second thing is people will only do business or share information with you if they like you. If they don't like you, they're not going to share information with you. There's no need, there's no desire. So you have to ask a series of questions that build rapport enough and have enough of a conversation that they're going to share information with you. So I'm actually going to give you some questions to ask, the script. But when we have a script, guys, you have to understand we have to dance. Anybody take a dance lesson? Who's taking a dance lesson? Come on. Nobody on here is taking a dance lesson? Okay. You can't always be dipping. Sometimes we have to dance. And when we go for a close on something, sometimes we have to back up and ask some other questions and engage. You know, like if Nazar says he's moving to a new place, what's got you interested in that place? I've actually been there. What's your favorite restaurant? That's a dance. It's the building the rapport. So here's the questions to ask in order. And I guess I think, guys, Nazar, I think I learned this through Mike Ferry in 1992 or 93 or something like the same exact script. So, Corey, I'm going to go through with you. Ring, ring.
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good. My name is Dave Thompson. I'm a real estate agent. I was wondering if I could ask you a quick question.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just listed the house down the street from you, and I was just curious if you had any maybe interest in moving yourself, selling your house.
No, we're staying put for a while.
Okay. So the very first thing, I had to have a reason to call, guys. If I did that same script without the reason, if I said, Corey, would you mind if I ask you a quick question? Are you interested in selling the house? It's too direct. And it does not matter what your reason is. You can have any reason you want. As you know, your neighborhood's very attractive to a lot of buyers. I was wondering if you had an interest in selling your house. You have to have a reason. They will always say no because it's reflective. No. I already know that Corey's going to say no every time. In fact, I'm going to get shocked if he says yes. What I will say next to Corey is this. I don't blame you. It's a great neighborhood, isn't it? I don't blame you. It's a great neighborhood, isn't it? Go ahead and respond, Corey.
Yeah, we like it.
Now, if he says, no, the neighborhood's terrible, I'm going to go back to ask him if he has an interest in selling his house. So I'm going to go, okay, either way in this conversation. Well, we like it. Now, very nonchalantly, I'm going to ask my next question. Just kind of curious, how long you lived in your home?
We've been there for 21 years now.
Now, I always repeat back what they say because I will show you later on here in a few minutes. I'll show you the script without repeating back. It becomes interrogation. How you make a script so it is not interrogation is I will repeat back what he says and I will say things like fantastic, good for you, wonderful, that's interesting, those type of words. You've been there for 21 years. Wow, that's a long time. Where'd you happen to move from 21 years ago?
I happened to
Next.
move from Orem, not too far away.
From Orem. Okay, so guys, I used the 21 years in the next question. And where did you happen to move from 21 years ago? You moved from Orem. Oh, from Orem. That's interesting. What brought you here from Orem?
Well, I have had a job up here in Salt Lake, and so we moved closer to it. And I was actually working on this development that we're in, and so drank the Kool-Aid and bought a house right here in my own development.
Okay, guys, I would dance. I'm going to keep the script going, but I have an opportunity to dance now because I know he worked on a development. I'm going to ask him about his career, what he does for a living, something to keep this conversation going, build rapport, but I'm going to stick on script, but I would dance at this point. So you ended up buying in the same development that you were working in. Well, that makes sense. And by the way, I really appreciate your time. Just another question for you, if you don't mind. If you ever did move, where would you move to?
If we did move, would probably just move not too far up the street into a 55 community.
Yeah. So I assume you're getting close to 55, are you?
All the kids moved out, and it's my wife and I right now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those neighborhoods. Fun. Which neighborhood I'm dancing again, guys. Which neighborhood are you looking at?
Oh, it's probably just up the street. It's called Spring House
Springhouse. Yeah.
Village.
Yeah, nice neighborhood, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it.
When do you guys think you'll do something like that? That's the last
You-
question.
Yeah, we considered it a couple years ago, but I have a hard time letting go of the yard and 3-car garage and a couple of things that they don't quite allow in their community. So when I get comfortable and feel okay with that, then we might consider it again.
Okay, so this is a call. This is exactly the way these calls work. If you notice the first question I asked, I don't have an interest. And because the last question I asked is basically the same first question, just in a different way. I said, when would that be? He's showing me now he does have an interest. It's because I went through a series of questions and built rapport. Does that make sense? So, Corey, let's just do the conversation without me explaining it. Ring, ring.
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good, good. My name is Dave Thompson. I'm a real estate agent. Just wonder if I could ask you a quick question, if you don't mind.
Okay, if it's
Yeah,
quick.
yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. So, we just listed a house down the street from you, and I was just wondering if you had any interest in selling your house.
Yeah, we're not interested in selling our house right
Yeah,
now.
I don't blame you. It's a great neighborhood, isn't it?
We like it.
Yeah, just kind of curious, how long you been there?
We've been here for 21 years now.
No way. You've been there for 21 years. That's a long time.
It
Wow.
does very long. Yeah.
Yeah, where'd you happen to move from 21 years ago?
We moved from Orem just a little bit away.
Oh, that's interesting. So you've moved from Orem to here. What got you to move here from Orem?
Well, it's closer to my work, and it happens to be the development that we were planning and building. And so, I drank the Kool-Aid and moved in.
Awesome. So you actually were working in the neighborhood and then you ended up buying there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, hey, I really appreciate your time. Just one last question, if you don't mind me asking. If you were to move again, where do you think you might move to?
If we were to move, it'd probably be in a 55 plus community.
So you're getting up there a little bit over
The
55.
kids, yeah, the kids are out of the house now, and our house is, fairly big, and I don't think my wife and I need it that big, but we always consider there may be grandkids and things, so we're
Yeah,
holding on to
yeah,
it for now.
yeah. When do you think you might do something like that?
Oh, good question. We a couple years ago considered it, but at the time I still couldn't get comfortable with some of the restrictions they have. Their yards were a lot smaller and some of those different things that we weren't quite ready to let go of yet.
Yeah. And that's the conversation. Do you guys, when I did it sound scripted? I don't think it sounded scripted. It sounded natural, but that was a script, right? Now, it probably have danced inside of that script, and that conversation probably would have lasted about 3 to 4 minutes longer. And I probably, at the end of that, Corey, I would, depending on what your answer are, my next step would see, Corey, I don't know if this is for you. Guy, by the way, guys, always pick up the book, Exactly What to Say by Phil Jones, right? Fantastic, good starting point if you haven't read that book and learned exactly what to say by Phil Jones, right? I don't know if this is for you, Corey, but I could stop over, take a look at your house, give you some pointers, tell you what the real price of what it'd be worth in today's market. Would that be a benefit to you?
Um, to know what it might sell for, I mean, information's never bad.
Okay. More the urgency, the more I'm going to get yes. The more time, if it's 2 years, I'm probably not going to do that, right? So I'm making a judgment if this is a lead or an appointment, right? But I know I got a
Mhm.
lead, and I know if I got a lead and I follow up with the lead properly and I market to the lead, I have a future sale. That's another thing that we drop in our is our follow up, right? We grab these leads. So out of those 100 contacts, I'm probably also going to get 2 to 3 leads, and I'm going to make all those notes down there. So the next time I call Corey, I can have a conversation, have the instant rapport, right?
Mhm.
That's worth $1 million to Corey 3 hours a day. Now, if Corey did that for 6 hours a day, Corey would make 2 million. If Corey hired a staff to make phone calls for him, he could do 1 hour, 2 hours, and have other people making phone, and he could even make more money by leveraging other people on his team. But geo calling is the easiest out of all the prospecting. Geo calling is the absolute easiest thing to do. Is it boring? Who's do you geo called before? Guys, by the way, why do we call it geo calling? Anybody know? Want to get a stab? Nazar, why do we call it geo calling?
When typically we're calling a geographic location within a city or so. So
Yeah, so we call it geocalling. We don't call it cold calling because no one would ever do it. It's cold calling in a geographic area is what it is, right? Um, is it boring sitting on the phone for 3 hours and dial? Yes,
Can be.
can be. $1 million, I can be bored, right? I can be bored for $1 million. But what I do when I'm making phone calls is I have what is called a cockpit. Right? So I have my screen in front of me. I have another screen next to me. I love rugby. I'm having rugby games playing, right? I'm on this other screen. I actually have another TV over there playing something else. I absolutely love music, guys. I have my music playing over in the corner here. I have a mic that you can't hear the music because it's noise canceling. I stand up, I walk around. I have pictures of what I'm trying to accomplish up there. And because I'm so ADD, I have one of those old-fashioned chess games on my desk, and I'm playing the computer in chess because I know my scripts and I do enough of this, I can actually dial and actually have fun, and I look forward to being in my environment. A lot of it has to do with your environment to keep your attention when you're making these phone calls. But Corey, even if it's boring for $1 million, I'm okay.
Find a way to make it not boring.
Absolutely. 100%. All right. So we have some time for questions. Please, anybody have any questions?
how do you make it to where you don't make it just a box you're checking? Because when I was doing it at some point, I got stuck in this rut of just making the calls to make the calls and not making it to make money.
Yeah. One of the things that Nazar, I love doing an exercise is, in fact, when you were doing this, did you get a hold of some people that you helped?
For sure.
Yeah. Hang their pictures on your wall because that's somebody you were able to contact that didn't come from a lead source that you paid 40% for or anything else, and you probably made an impact in their life. So I love hanging actual true pictures of my clients on the wall. It gives me the motivation on that. Another thing, Nazar, is I write my business plan every single day, all the time. If cold calling is my way, geo calling, then I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do it after I write my business plan because my reason why I'm doing it is not because of the numbers of the calls. It's not because I have to do it. It's because what is that $1 million doing in my life for me? I need to stay focused on what I'm trying to accomplish, and we get so hung up in what we're doing, but that's not what we're trying to accomplish. Corey, if you added an extra $1 million to your income, you probably have some things to do with that $1 million, couldn't you?
I could figure it out.
Yeah, and that's what I'm concentrating on. And I'm also concentrating, Nazar, is in Corey's place, it's $180 every time that phone answers. If I remember that, cha-ching, 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 I'm okay. So you have to play some games with yourself and mentally to keep yourself motivated.
Yeah. Just to give you guys perspective, doctors make between $100 and $120 an hour.
Mhm.
And so if you're making $180 an hour, you're making more than a doctor that spent 12 years or more in schooling. Another thing that I think is worthwhile is that you can take that cold call script, and instead of just randomly calling people, is get a little bit more strategic on who you're calling with still within the geographic area,
Mhm.
but now call around a listing that just sold. Now call people that have lived in that home for more than 15, 20 years, or call in that sweet spot of 7 to 8 years, because that's when people start getting that itch of wanting to make a move. The average American moves every 10 years. And so calling in that, maybe 8 to 9 year window might be a possibility. When one home sells, we know that 2 or 3 sell right away in that neighborhood, because people do it all the time. I mean, people wait for their neighbor to sell, and if like, well, shoot, if my neighbor got so and so, if they got that much money, then gosh, I can sell it for more because my house is nicer, because it always is. And so like you can get more intentional. It might take you a little bit more, prepared or, preparation in the beginning. But if you do that, then you're going to increase your likelihood of talking to someone that says, yes, I am actually interested in selling my house.
Mhm. And that was 180 a contact, Nazar,
Mhm.
is what he was actually making with his numbers. You guys read X to Nazar's point that, for example, and a lot of these programs do it now. Nazar, you can actually write down a whole bunch of things. You can say how long have they been in the house, how many bedrooms, how many baths, and it'll actually pull it up. So if you're calling for one of your buyers, which is what I think we should do all day long, is once we have a buyer, our job is not only to show them listed properties, our job is to go find them a house. I would actually make the phone call for the buyer and do exactly what Nazar said. You just concentrate on houses that match and get very strategic on it. Without a question. Love geo calling, love for sale by owners, love expireds, right? These are all ways, love open houses. These are all ways to get business. Pick a lane and just execute the lane. So, any last questions?
See, Dave, every single time you speak, you make it seem so easy.
It is.
And if it's not, because if it
It
was,
is.
everyone would be doing it. Don't give me your easy speech, my friend. You're not fooling anybody. It is hard. It's hard. It is hard. I think majority of the time it is all a mental game than it is anything else. Because if it was as easy as picking up the phone and calling and being, smiling and having a rugby game on the side, like everyone and the mom would do it. So like I think I'd like to know, what is it? Is it maybe that we have to focus more on the why? Because the average human being will make only enough money to live the lifestyle that they have created for themselves.
That is
They
true.
won't work a they won't work a day more. And
Mhm.
so if we can't get past the motivation to make more money, it requires us to step outside of our comfort zone, because we're comfortable doing what we do. And if we want more, we have to push ourselves more. And most certainly making those phone calls is an uncomfortable position to put ourselves in. But the cool thing is, I mean, you talked about putting those families up there. If that doesn't motivate you, then maybe we put some other pictures up there of things that do motivate you. You guys, this world is a very large place. And if you haven't seen half of it or even, 1% of it, then there's so much more opportunity out there. And for me, vacationing is something that excites me. So maybe putting pictures of all the different countries and cities I've never been to, maybe that would excite me, because I know that that trip is going to cost me 30 grand, or that trip's going to cost me 15, or whatever that number is. But whatever it is, if it's your kids or your grandkids or that fancy car that you've always wanted to buy, whatever that is, maybe that's what's so motivated. Because gosh, again, like I hate to tell you, Dave, but it's hard. It's hard to pick up that phone.
A client of mine just realized it. We have those revelations that just come to us one day, right? And he was driving down the road, and it's rather warm where he lives, and he's seeing guys out there and women too, shoveling concrete or whatever it was to make roads with, right? That's hard work. That's hard work to be in a 90, 100 degree out there taking a shovel and fixing streets. There's really no physical work to making phone calls. From a hard standpoint, it's not there. It's just the challenge mentally that we have. And to Nazar's point there, it's it's that balance, your pain and your reward. If you're looking at it as pain, you're not going to do it. If you look at the reward and the reward's bigger than the pain, you're going to have activity into it, right? It is absolutely about the why. 100%. That's reason why we do it. Nazar, what I've learned throughout all these years is that highly successful people, most people only make enough money to pay their bills. When they're getting behind, they go back to work, right? And that's where they live at. And but highly successful people have learned how to not think about their bills. They know they have that. They're working for other purpose, and they're very clear of what that purpose is. And that's one thing that I think separates very successful people from people that aren't as successful, is they're very clearly defined about why they're doing what they're doing. Yeah. Guys, great to see you. I have to jump. Nazar, I will send you pictures of my fish this weekend.
Okay. I want to see your face in those pictures so you're not doctoring some AI
we do.
photos.
Yeah, we do have AI. So
It's a
see you
fair
guys.
point.
Have a great
Hey,
day.
thank you for being on here. You guys, I appreciate you. I know that it is hard, but I know that the reward is worth it. And I know it's exciting to think about the possibility. I mean, again, most agents don't sell 60 homes a year, right? Most don't. And most don't even sell 30 homes a year. And so if you say, hey, Nazar, what can I do to sell more homes? Then the answer is more contacts. And either it's on the phone, because that's the easiest way to make more contacts, or you go door knock and get face to face with people, or you do open houses every single day and wait for people to come to you, and you do other things to be able to drive people to come to the open house. No matter how you do it, the beauty of real estate is that you're not forced to just sit on the grind on the phones if you don't want to. But the objective is to make as many contacts as possible every single day. And if you could make 10 contacts every single day, then you would sell 30 to 60 homes a year. It really is that simple. And the cool thing is, if you grind for like 5-10 years, then the rest of it, you don't have to grind. Just like Corey was saying, it kind of compounds. You build this momentum, you build past clients, you build all the other things you then don't have to put in the time. Like I remember you talk to my family, anyone that knows me, when I was younger in real estate, I was working 12-hour days. I was grinding. I don't have to grind as much now, but still, like it takes that energy to be able to get that momentum going. So I just encourage all of you to say, hey, if you want this, if you really want it, right? If you want to make more money than you've ever made before, if you really want to crush it in this space, if you want to be in the top 1%, then do the things that you don't want to do. Do the things that people are not willing to do to get the results that people only dream and wish about. So anyway, hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday. I just made a video that I uploaded talking about that May is almost over, and that means that there's 6 months left. December doesn't count, right? Because whatever you put in under contract in December doesn't close until 2027. So that month doesn't count. So you got 6 months left to put things under contract to get it sold. So look at your data, or look at how many transactions you've sold this year so far. And if you are under your goal or below your goal, then what do you need to change the next 6 months that you didn't do the first 6 months to get the results that you're looking for? So I hope you can do that. And Corey, I'm going to text you. Hopefully we can get together sometime in the next couple of weeks. I really do. I have an opportunity to be able to connect a couple of key players. I don't know if you know the Patterson Homes. Do you know Patterson Homes?
Oh yeah, certainly do.
Okay. So there's a connection there with James, if you know James well or not. But anyway, we'll have to chat.
Okay,
Anyway,
that'd be awesome.
otherwise, you guys have an awesome week. We'll talk to you next Thursday, or we'll see if you guys are part of 5. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Okay. See ya.